Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. And tonight, some books that scared the crap out of me. Stay tuned. Okay everyone, so this is a response video to a video put out by Michael, from Michael Wurtenberg. He's got an awesome channel, people check him out. I'm going to link his channel. And the name of the video was Scary Books. So scary, so scary I literally had trouble breathing. And yeah, I'm going to respond to that. These are books that I found incredibly scary. And yeah, everyone is different, people. You might look at this video and think, oh, this book's terrible. But that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Just leave a comment down below of books that you found very, very scary. Okay, so when I think of very scary, so scary I couldn't breathe, I think of terrifying. And Stephen King has a quote, and it's pretty brilliant, where he distinguishes between the three types of terror. The gross out, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. It talks about gross out, like you got a severed head, tumbling down a flight of stairs, that kind of thing. Slimy splatters against your arm. Then you got horror, the unnatural, spiders the size of bears, the dead waking up and walking around, and something grabs your arm, claws grab your arm. And then the best of all, you got terror. When you come home and notice everything you own has been taken away and replaced by an exact substitute. It's when the lights go out and you feel something behind you. You hear it, you feel its breath against your ear. But when you turn around, there's nothing there. So yeah, now I want to talk about books and how I see terror. Books that have really scared me. Kind of few and far between. But these are books that when you close the page, the scene or the scenes or the whole book lingers in your head. Like a little sliver of metal in your brain that it haunts you and you think about it, you know, and maybe you go to sleep and at 1 o'clock in the morning you just wake up because you think you hear a sound or you think something's wrong. They disturb you to the point that they linger after you've closed the book. They stay with you. Now all these books that I'm going to talk about have lingered with me, and they've stayed with me. Some in fact some more than others, but some of them really to this day. I think about the scenes that I read in the book and they still disturb me, they still mess me up. Now, not all these books are extreme horror. There's 2 out of the 5 that are going to be pretty extreme, but it just shows we're all scared of different kinds of things. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be extreme horror. It could be, we all have different fears. You know, I'm claustrophobic, and some books that I read bring out fears that I didn't even know I had. They just stay with me. So yeah, we're all different people. Leave a comment down below what you think of my books and tell me which books that you read that terrified you. Yeah. Okay, before I look at the novels, it's a handful of novels, I'm just going to shoot out some short stories that I think fit the bill for me, that I've thought about and I still think about. And I'm not going to talk about them at length. Just going to shoot them out quickly. Okay, so first off we got I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. Now yeah, this is a very disturbing tale. Basically the world's been wiped out by this supercomputer, this AI computer, and the computer who's killed everyone except for a handful, I think it's 4 or 5 folk. He hates humanity, he's kept them alive so that he can torment them forever and torture them forever. Sounds cool, eh? Yeah. And it is very disturbing and it's very dark. But the final paragraph, final couple of lines, hit me like a ton of bricks and I still think about it. So yeah, that's the first one. Second one, The Jaunt by Stephen King. Now, a lot of Stephen King short stories I found disturbing on different levels. But this is just such a, whoa. I literally did have trouble breathing. Because yeah, it's time travel gone wrong. So you can go on the jaunt. You can go on the jaunt. It's a new technology. You can travel to Mars or wherever. But you just have to go under. Make sure you go under. Yeah. And the third one is Dread by Clive Barker. Probably my favorite Clive Barker short story, found in the Books of Blood. And yeah, this is a seriously messed up story. It just gets worse and worse and worse until the end. And the final 5-10 pages of the story, that's just insanity, madness, nightmare, clown. Not spoiling anything, just read the story. Yeah. And finally, and now this is more like a very short novella, and yeah, this haunted me for a long time after I read it. But this is a different kind of haunting. That's a different kind of scare, different kind of terror, sort of existential terror. And that is A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. This is in my top 20 books of all time, believe it or not. It is so good and so short. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing about it. I'm just going to say, if you think that hell is all about fire and brimstone, eternal suffering with fire and brimstone and pain, this book paints a different picture. And might leave you feeling incredibly empty, drained, maybe depressed, but also questioning all sorts of things about existence. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay everyone, for the first book on this list, I'm going to be talking about The Black Farm by Elias Witherow. Now yeah, this is an extreme novel. It is very graphic. So it's not for the faint of heart people. So enter at your own risk and check trigger warnings. But really, let me begin. It is about this couple and their life is going nowhere. Yeah, just one problem after another. This child, and this, and money. They can't. Their life is crumbling, and so they decide to kill each other together. They decide to commit suicide, and they want peace, but instead they wake up at this place called the Black Farm, which is where you go if you commit suicide. And yeah, this book is very, very dark and graphic and disturbing and very gory and just wrong on many levels. But what I loved about it, and it did scare me, was the world building. It's so imaginative, people. And I look at this Black Farm, you die, but you get basically crapped out again from the heavens. It's discolored clouds back onto the island. So you can't really escape. You can try killing yourself, it's not going to work. So they get tortured and murdered over and over again, just hunted down with these creatures there. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, but what I found terrifying, as I said, is a world building, but there's one particular scene. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, although a lot of the people that watch this channel, I don't know if you're going to read this book, but yeah, if you can handle it, go for it. But there's one scene, and well, this is one thing, is that you can't escape the island. It's an island, there's water surrounding it, and people have tried to escape. But there's this big monster, huge monster, that's the shape of a cross. Might be a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm not getting into the plot or anything. And yeah, let's just say, very likely, 99.999, you're going to get caught. And then you're going to face an eternity of absolute pain and suffering for trying to get away from this Black Farm. Yeah. But it's bad enough people still risk it, but that's all I'm going to say about this book. And that stayed with me. I still think about that scene. I still think about this scene. There's this chase scene. And I couldn't breathe. Literally could not breathe. It's absolutely terrifying. And that thought of being in agony and suffering, that level of agony and suffering for all eternity, it's kind of a place between heaven and hell. Yeah, that got to me. It's like a thing in my brain. That's Black Farm. Oh, and just a quick excerpt. I'm going to try and do this for each one. I coughed in the black and tried to focus my thoughts. That's when the first bolt of unease shot up my spine like lightning. I wasn't supposed to have thoughts. I wasn't supposed to be aware of anything. I was dead. I should feel nothing. Why could I think? Why could I feel? I coughed again as the darkness slid across my skin like frozen paste. It coated me, slid around me, engulfed me. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Next up we got Graham Masterton Walkers. Now, a lot of Masterton books that I've read over the years have kind of scared me, but this messed me up, people. And yeah, what's it about? A country club has basically got a terrible past. 60 years ago it was an insane asylum, a psychiatric ward with some seriously messed up individuals, lunatics, murderous lunatics. And yeah, the protagonist, his son, gets captured. I'm not going to go into the whole plot and get dragged into the walls. And it's batshit crazy, as most of Masterton is. It's very violent, and very, very gory. And sometimes it's a little bit out there, you know what I mean? A suspension of disbelief, that kind of thing. But why did I find this book so terrifying? Look at this cover. I found this book terrifying for a couple of reasons. First of all, insane asylums, the kind of setting, I kind of find pretty disturbing. Yeah, there's a movie called Shutter Island. It's about the 60s, 70s, and so I'm not going to go there, but yeah, I found that terrifying. And I found this setting terrifying as well. And also, you got these psycho lunatics, and they vanish. 60 years ago, you got all these psychos, and they vanish in the walls. But this magic, I'm not going to go into it. They have the ability to drag people into the walls. Now, I'm claustrophobic as hell, people. I get scared of tight spaces. And some of the story is about dragging into the walls. Now, if this little bit at the back doesn't get you, nothing will. Now the empty rooms echo to the soundless screaming of the madman trapped inside the brick and plaster, walking endlessly through the maze-like mansion. And now Jack's son, dragged into the hellish prison of the walls, is held a screaming hostage by the leader of the insane. Yeah, this book got to me. It got to me. Maybe not as much as some of the other books, but yeah, this got to me. We got Mine by Robert McCammon. Whew. So we got a delusional, psychopathic 60s kind of radical. Yeah, used to be in this group, used to blow up stuff, all that kind of thing. Who kidnaps a baby because she's under the... She thinks that this leader is still around, a former lover, and they had a child and they lost a child. Now she wants to take this baby back to this leader. She's living in the past. And Robert McCammon talked about this book in an interview, and he said it was a ghost story. So it's about being haunted by your past, not being able to kind of move forward. Now this woman is over 6 foot, she's massive, incredibly well trained, and she's a killer, and she's losing it, absolutely losing it. And yeah, she's got this baby, yeah, basically literally stealing it out of the mother's hands, and the mother wants the baby back, finds strength in herself, and it's basically a chase. And it's yeah, it's a thriller, people. It's a thriller, but it's also a horror. It's very dark. It goes to some places that had my blood racing. Seriously, it's... And you also feel for this child. It's like... No, it's a horror, people. A thriller, I don't know. You can make up your own mind. One thing I can tell you is it's worth a frickin' read. I'm just going to read you some of the first few pages. No, not the whole pages, don't worry. Just a couple of lines. Okay. Oh wait, it's just a prologue, hang on. Yeah, so this just shows how messed up this woman is. The baby was crying again. Okay, skip through. Robbie kicked and wailed, struggling in her arms, and Mary felt her patience tattering like an old peace flag on a hard, hot wind. She shoveled that feeling down because it was a dangerous thing. It made her think of ticking bombs, of automatic rifles. It made her think of God's voice roaring commandments in the night from her stereo speakers. Okay, let's keep going. Again, he defied her. Applesauce dripped from his mouth down his chin. It was combat now, a battle of wills. Mary caught the infant's face with one large hand and squeezed the baby fat cheeks. "You going to mind me?" she shouted into the glittering blue eyes. The infant quieted down for a second, startled, and then new tears streaked down his face, and his wailing pierced Mary's head with fresh pain. Okay, I'm just going to go forward now. "You want to cry, I'll make you cry." She knocked the pot off the stovetop and turned the burner up to high. This is actually a very messed up book. It's terrifying. I'm not giving anything away. It's the first chapter, but it's not even the first chapter. It's a prologue. And so yeah, I'll let you make your own conclusions of what I've just read. But it's a very good book, people. And yeah, I found it terrifying to the point where I thought about this antagonist a long time after I finished the story. That is mine. Okay, so the next two are in order. Second most terrifying, first most terrifying. Yeah, we got The Shining by Stephen King. Now I could have gone with It. I could have gone with Pet Sematary. A lot of books that I found kind of pretty damn scary. But yeah, The Shining is terrifying. And let's just talk very, very briefly about the plot, because I think all of you know the story. You've either seen the movie or read the book. Yeah, it's about this family that go to the Overlook Hotel. The father's working there. The husband is working there. And he's got a child, a 5-year-old child that's special. He's got this thing called a shining. It makes him kind of psychic. Now, this hotel is dangerous, and the child picks up stuff. But let's talk about basically, yeah, it's snowed in completely, claustrophobic setting. And it's not about the hotel being terrifying, although it frickin' is. It's haunted, very definitely. And you can see it through Danny's eyes, because he can see into the past, what happened in this hotel. And there's some very terrifying scenes that messed with me when I was younger. Seriously messed with me. I'm not going to go into spoilers. There's a topiary. There's a woman in a room. That messed with me. But the thing that really terrified me about this book is none of that. This is psychological horror, people. And it's about this man, Jack, who's basically, he wants to be a good person. He's done bad things in his past. He's a recovering alcoholic, if you can call him that. And he's trying to turn over a new leaf. And he's trying to be a good husband and a good father. And he's writing a book, and he's trying to make things work. And yeah, it's a descent into madness. It really gets to me. And about a man who's battling his demons that is kind of failing miserably. And yeah, hotel's working on him. Let me just quickly read this. It was not just Danny the Overlook was working on, hotel. It was working on him too. It wasn't Danny who was a weak link. It was him. He was the vulnerable one. The one who could be bent and twisted until something snapped. Yeah, so this is about being in this man's mind, and obsession and alcoholism, and it's just that how it brings out the worst in yourself. You're trying to be a good person, and it's just this descent into madness, and looking at that fall, and yeah, alcoholism, and whew, that was intense for me. It was very scary. So yeah, people might not respond to that, relate to that, but I did. I thought it was very, very powerful. So yeah, that's a Shining. Okay, one book that I found so scary I couldn't breathe. It scared the living crap out of me. It terrified me to the point that I still think about it today. It's Off Season by Jack Ketchum. The story is deceptively simple. Yeah, some out-of-towners come in and they're spending the weekend in this cabin, and there's a family of violent cannibals, mutated cannibals, it's in the first 100 and something pages, nothing happens. It's a bit of character development, and even the character development is not like that good, but it's good. This guy writes well. And the cannibals, and yeah, what's happening, and then just there's attack after about 100 and something, and then it just gets more and more and more violent. Yeah, it is very visceral. It is very in your face. And why do I find this so disturbing? I mean, I've read violent stuff before. I want to just read something that Jack Ketchum in an interview spoke about when he talked about this, writing his book. Because he planned it. First of all, he did a lot of research. He wanted to get everything right in terms of, yeah, kind of a bullet entry, exit wounds, and making sure that, you know, kind of how much blood would be shed. He went to doctors, he went to all places. But in terms of why it stayed with me, let me read you this. This might give you a clue, okay? I found this and I thought, yeah, this is why it resonated with me. I was going to show you everything. Hopefully make you feel everything. Every last nasty detail. The knife sinking into your very own flesh while you watched and listened and struggled not to die. It's also important, and this goes to realism too, to engage all the senses. Not just sight and sound. They are the easy ones, but smell, taste and touch. Remember, we're dealing with someone's pain here. And you can't do pain without touch. The reader has to feel what the character feels when a blade touches a body, presses into the body, invades the body, and then finally roots around in there. In this kind of writing, it's every inch of the way or nothing at all. That's the way he writes his novel. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't flinch. And yeah, actually, the characters, you're inside their head, and there's a lot more to the novel. It's just blood and violence. It's their response to it, to what's happening to them, response to each other, kind of fight or flight. There's a lot of stuff that happens psychologically. It kind of very disturbing, but also the kind of book that made me feel kind of naked, made me feel vulnerable. I really felt the pain of what was going on to these characters. I really felt it. I couldn't stop finishing. I couldn't stop the book until I finished it, and I was awake that night thinking about the book. I couldn't sleep, and yeah, it disturbed the hell out of me, and it's haunted me. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it makes you kind of empathize as well, but it makes you feel. And I think he said in another interview that if we don't feel pain, or if we kind of ignore pain, that's a bad thing. When we read horror, you know, from a safe space, we can experience pain, we can experience suffering. It's kind of cathartic, right? This kind of book really made me, it's up close and personal, people. It doesn't shy away from anything. And yeah, you literally, and even I could say the same for the first book, The Night Farm. I did not find it as well written. This book is so well written. He knows his stuff. And I mean, I know that this month I'm supposed to get to The Girl Next Door, but both of us, we have to buddy read, we decided it's not the right time this month, both going through stuff. I think you have to be in the right headspace to read stuff like this, that is unflinching, and just puts a lens on suffering, and, you know, kind of, yeah. So this book terrified the crap out of me, and I'm not ashamed to say, I really enjoyed it with 5 stars, but not in the way that you normally enjoy books, but it made me feel, it made me like, yeah. But yeah, that's the last one, yeah. Okay, I just want to add there that actually I ordered off-season, because I had to read it on some library, because you can't get it here. And I ordered off-season unexpurgated version. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the word. Anyway, at the last minute they said, sorry, cancelled. They do that sometimes, and just book's not available. So I was very, very disappointed, because I want a copy of this book. I just want to read you like a little tiny section of the book, just to give you an idea of the writing. he was keeping her alive as long as he could, and she participated in her torture by her body's blind attempts to survive it. Didn't she know that it was better to be dead now? What awful fraud animated her? Her will to live was as cruel as he was. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about that book. Okay everyone, that's my video for tonight. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read those books. Did they terrify you? And let me know what books you've been terrified by in the past. Kind of books that have hit a chord where a little piece of metal goes into your brain and you can't forget it and just you keep thinking about it. So yeah, let me know down in the spaces below. As always, it's been wonderful to chat to you. Take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.